Good afternoon and happy Friday. Welcome to math. We're going to be going over exponents today. So our LEQs, those questions I want you to be able to answer at the end of our lesson are what is an exponent and how do exponents change the base? So we'll start with our I can statement up in the corner, and this is what you should be able to do by the end of our lesson. Our I can statement is simplify exponents and evaluate expressions with exponents. Since we're talking all about exponents, let's get a good definition of an exponent. So an exponent, or power, is a short way of writing a number being multiplied by itself a certain number of times. So what's that saying? What that's saying is that an exponent is another way of saying that we're going to multiply a number over and over and over again. Let's look at our little example of an exponent over here. So it's using letters. A represents our base. Our base number is going to be the big number, and our base number is going to be the one that's getting multiplied. The B represents our exponent, or our power, and that's how many times we're going to multiply our base. So let's look at some examples. We're going to go through it again with our letters and then with numbers, which might be a little bit easier to follow. So we'll start with our first rule. It's A to the power of B. So A is our base to the power of B. And that would mean that we're going to multiply A however many times B is telling us to. So A to the power of B means we're multiplying our base, or A, however many times our exponent B tells us to. So let's look at our number example. We have 4 to the third power. 4 is our base, so that means we're multiplying 4 however many times the exponent tells us to. The exponent is 3, so we're going to multiply 4 3 times. 4 times 4 is 16, times another 4 is 64. So once again, I'm taking my base, which is 4, and multiplying it by our exponent. So I'm multiplying 4 by 3 times. Our second rule, my base is A and my exponent is negative B. All I'm going to do is put this on the bottom of a fraction, so in the denominator, and it's going to become positive. So it just becomes 1 over A to the B power. Let's look at our example. So our example is 5 to the negative second power. So all I'm going to do is take that and put it in the denominator of a fraction, and then my exponent becomes positive. So I have 1 over 5 squared, or 1 over 25. Notice my vocab for a second. I said 5 squared. Anytime you have a 2 exponent, you can also say squared instead of to the power of 2. So that could be said as either 1 over 5 squared or 1 over 5 to the power of 2. Last is our easiest rule. Anything where the exponent is 0, no matter how big or small the base is always going to be 1. So 7 to the 0 power is 1. That's kind of an easy problem. You can just immediately mark anything to the power of 0 as 1. So now we're going to look at how these are said. So 4 to the third power, my base is 4 and I multiply 4 3 times, 4 times 4 times 4, can also be said as 4 to the power of 3. So if I were going to write it out, I would write 4 to the power of 3. 5 to the negative 2 is said as the negative square of 5. So 2, whenever I have an exponent of 2, I said means that you could say it's squared and it's negative. So I'm looking for the negative square of 5. And last, when my exponent is 0, I can say 7 raised to the power of 0. So we said in our definition that an exponent, also called a power, so they mean the exact same thing. 7 raised to the power of 0. We're going to do a couple practice problems. These are not in your math binder. I just want you to follow along and listen to what I'm saying. There will be a few questions in your Edpuzzle here as well. So let's start. This is 2 is our base and 4 is our exponent. So 2 is our base and 4 is our exponent, which I'm going to abbreviate as EXP. So this means that I'm multiplying 2, our base, 4 times. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. This can also be written as 2 to the power of 4. 2 to the power of 4. 2 to the power of 4 equals, so 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So 2 to the power of 4 is telling me that my base of 2 is being multiplied 4 times. I can say it as 2 to the power of 4, and it equals 16. Next, I'm going to look at 6 to the negative second power, or 6 to the negative square of 6. So the negative square of 6 is going to be written as a fraction, and then I'm going to make that exponent positive. So now I'm going to write it out as 1 over 6 times 6, because my base of 6 is being multiplied 2 times because my exponent is 2. So then I have 1 over 36. And this once again can be written as the negative square of 6. One more problem. 1,478 raised to the power of 0. So 1,478 raised to the 0 power. I would like you in Edpuzzle to complete the problem that tells us what 1,478 raised to the 0 power is. Okay, so let's try 3 to the 3rd power. How many times am I going to multiply my base of 3? So my base of 3 is being multiplied 3 times by the number of times my exponent tells me to. So I'm going to do 3 times 3 times 3. How else can I write this out? So I can write it out as 3 to the power of 3. 3 times 3 equals 9, and 9 times 3 is 27. All right. I'm going to have everyone go ahead and do our 8 practice problems on the next page, and then I will see you back on Zoom after you finish the problems and take your break to go over our practice. If you have any questions, you can hop on our Zoom link. I will keep it open, or you can email Mrs. McDaniels or I.